We're in 13 minutes, so I want to jump into the Wildstorm reboot. Jasper is just hammering me in the comments because he wants to talk about it. You knew I was going to get to it, Jasper. I'm just getting to it now. So here's the thing. We have talked many times on this channel when you've been on. I've constantly talked about like my disdain, I guess you could say, for the way that the Wildstorm characters have been treated at DC since Jim sold them, and wanting them to come back one day. We've talked. You've had ideas. If you ever had an opportunity of what you want to do, and coming from Wildstorm, I think that you would be the perfect one to spearhead that kind of thing. Lo and behold, here we go, 30-year anniversary. Now we're seeing all this news pop up of the Wildcats being rebooted, Stormwatch coming back, all this kind of stuff. But they're putting them.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, they're putting them in the they're putting them in the DC universe, and it's me as a fan. I'm not happy about it. I don't like what they're doing. I want to see the original Stormwatch, or the original Wildstorm, I should say, characters in their continuity. I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing. I can say the only thing I like that I've seen so far is the cover to Wildcats that you drew. So I just wanted to get your take on how you feel about the characters coming back. If you know anything about it, if they've asked you to do any issues than just the cover.
No, just that cover.
That's it. Jeez.
They sent me some reference for the characters. I kind of like the void thing, although it reminds me of a Scooby-Doo villain. It's literally like a guy and like a skeleton inside of a diving suit, an old-timey diving suit.
Really?
I mean, no, maybe it's an alien, like a moon man thing. It's so long. This reminded me of. I thought it was cool. I didn't like the fact that I don't want to shit on anybody, but this is my preference.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that half of them didn't have costumes.
Right.
They're just in a regular clothes. That bothers the shit out of me.
Yep.
I hate that so much for superhero comics.
Yeah.
It's like my least favorite thing.
1000%.
The only things I've seen are like some of the. I don't know who's actually drawing it. It's really good artist from what I remember. I don't know. I've only seen like a couple pages or images or something from it is what they sent me. So I was like, oh, they're in regular costumes. They're in the regular clothes. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, can I draw them in the costume? That's what I asked. And they're like, yeah, sure, do a 90s cover. Like, cool. So I went full 90s. I don't mind the team. I just wish that they had costumes on. I don't know what the story is, so I can't really comment on that. And I'm hoping that they do something cool with it. What I wanted to see out of this was the original team. I was kind of hoping for the original team.
Me too.
And I think that they need to treat the Wildstorm universe like they used to treat the X-Men universe, where it's essentially like its own little pocket universe, and they only cross over every now and then.
Yeah. Yep.
And because they used to treat the X-Men like crap in the other books. Whenever they meet the Avengers, the X-Men are always like, they just get beat really, really fast because the Avengers are the number one team, even though the X-Men books were selling better.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So I think that it would be better to be it's almost like a separate universe inside the larger DC universe. You don't have to put them in a different planet or a different world. You can actually keep them on the same planet. It's the same whatever Earth 1 or Prime. Just like it's almost like it's like another country kind of happening by itself.
Yeah.
And they like tie it to Batman immediately. I mean, hopefully, I wanted it. They were talking about doing a Flash series, our Flash story with Court of Owls. So it might be kind of cool. Although I think that the Cops would just wipe the floor with the Court of Owls.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, and that's what I read.
I'm hoping that there'll be something interesting. I just I don't know. I think that it's going to miss the mark. Is why I'm worried that it's going to miss the mark. Yeah,
so I don't know too much about it except for a couple articles I read, but that's what the whole premise of the Wildcats is, that they were going to be going up against the Court of Owls in issue 2, and I'm just like, the Court of Owls, and I was like, Wildcats would just destroy the Court of Owls. I don't understand, the thinking with with that pairing. But I agree with you. Like I would have completely taken those characters and put them in their own pocket universe, and just continued their story.
I have mentioned that this is Dan was still in charge. Like, here's the two things you need to do. You need to basically make it put a Wildstorm artist on there because that's what the people want to see.
Absolutely.
I think that they're kind of stuck with they want the Warren Ellis prestige.
Yeah.
From the Authority time, and they're more interested in that than they are the art, which is I think sad. Although I'm not saying I think the artist it's Segovia, isn't it? Is that the artist?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I read the names of the artists, and I can't think of them offhand because I don't.
I think because the artist was the stuff I saw was good. It was fine. It was just like my biggest thing is like what I saw. Spartan had a costume. Zealot had a costume. And Grifter had like a Hawaiian shirt. And like a little tiny that little the James Bond gun, a little tiny gun.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let us draw guns on the cover.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
He didn't have any guns. I gave him pockets for guns, but he didn't have any guns.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, they said no guns, and I was like, can I give him one of his? Marsh, why the hell are you chewing that blanket up? Cut it out. Don't look at me like that. You're the good puppy. Be good. I think, well, can I give him one of the what the hell do they call it? Like the Coda swords, the Coda weapons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. So I gave him a Coda weapon because I don't know if they're going to do that, but in the old Wildstorm continuity, Grifter was the only male Coda.
Right.
He's trained in the Coda ways.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like, that'll work. And then I think they had For a Child and Voodoo, and I was like, they're just regular Codas. I said, this is like the exact opposite of I think what the Wildstorm fans want. That's what I'm always worried about.
Yeah, that's
so much stuff I know literally nothing about. I was like, don't put that shit. Don't put that shit.
It's yeah. As far as I have not
being tied to Stormwatch and stuff, but I was like,
yeah,
I'm in regular clothes. What's the point?
I haven't heard anything about Backlash at all. But yeah, I read the articles about Wildcats and Stormwatch. Stormwatch sounds weird.
I hope it's good.
You know, I hope it would be good, but everything I'm reading doesn't sound like it would be good because you just nailed it right there. Like, you know, I feel like the Wildstorm fans, and me being one of them, wants to see either or, but a Wildstorm artist return to do something like you or J. Scott Campbell or whoever, just somebody that has ties to those characters, that knows the characters, that has love for the characters back on the book.
I'm pissed at this right here. I just saw this. Jim did like a new 8-page story for Hush 20th anniversary.
Yes, I just heard about that too. Yep.
Where the fuck is the Wildcats one?
Right, exactly. Like, that's
like, dude, come on! You could have at least asked me to do something.
Thank you. That's what I was wondering that too. Like, I wanted to ask you if they'd even talk to you because when I read the article, I'm just like, yeah, it's cool that they got you to do a cover, but I was like, why don't they have Brett doing something? You know, even if it's not Backlash, why is he not doing Wildcats or why is he not doing at least an issue?
Them to let me do something like for years, and they don't seem interested at all in having me. Ben will ask me to do stuff because he's an old Wildstorm guy, so he's like, okay, well. Now I do ask him. I did ask him last year. Like, what are you guys planning for the 30th anniversary? They Backlash one shot, and I think we're just doing a Wildcats book.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
that's so much was a surprise. It might not be terrible. I mean, I'm just worried that by putting in like Amanda Waller and stuff, you're going to detract from the Wildstorm stuff.
Exactly.
They're going to lose focus on the Wildstorm characters.
Yep.
I mean, the Court of Owls will kind of work, I guess, because it's just they don't really have like a main head guy. It's just kind of a bunch of crazy people and cryogenic sleep. So
it's everything I didn't want to see happen. Like I've been saying for years, like. Yeah, I've been saying for years, like I don't want to see them in the continuity with the DC characters because I don't think they will get their due. There'll be second-rate citizens, with the DC universe. If you're gonna do them, put them in their own pocket universe or do something. I don't know. It's. I was excited for a second, and then I read everything that they were doing with the characters, and then my excitement went right out the window, and I was done at that point.
I wish they'd do more with the characters. It's frustrating. It's something that I would have loved to have done. Like,
Yeah, that's
at the same time, they're gonna insist on having and more mod writing it and stuff like that. So it would I could see why that would be to deal with. Oh, that's because but we're doing now. Like, yeah, but that's not how the character goes. You're gonna piss off the fan.
yeah.
Don't listen to me.
I think we're losing you a little bit, Brett. If you're moving around.
Try that.
Yeah, I think it's better. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, yeah, that was something I've been dying to ask you since I knew you were going to be coming on. It's like I got to talk to him about that because it's been something that's been bugging me for a while, and I've had a couple of different debates with people, but for the most part, everybody I've talked to has a similar thought process that I do with it. Because I grew up in the '90s. Wildstorm, Image, all that was my thing. I have a very fond love for those characters and their continuity, and anytime anybody reboots any characters from the '90s Image and they're different or they're just changed up to the point it just drives me insane. Top Cow did the same thing when they rebooted Cyberforce a couple times, and it wasn't Cyberforce to me, and that pissed me off even more because I was like, that those are the people making Cyberforce, and they're completely changing it up, so it's just I don't know.
I think some of this is just they're trying to appeal to like the newer audience, and they think that this is what will appeal to them. And I'm just kind of like I don't know. I mean, if you look at what's popular now, like even the mangas and the animes that are doing it, there's a lot of action. In My Hero Academia, just that there's a great, you can use that as a base template and just kind of it's based off of the old superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So pull some of that in there, put in some exciting art that we think that that type of fan will gravitate towards, and try that. I don't know why they're trying to appeal to like a smaller, a shrinking audience with the same stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing that it blows me away that if you've got a proven demographic out there that are going to buy, it's not like the old '90s collectors grew up like me, we're in our 40s now or whatever, and are just decided not to buy comics anymore or anything. But if you brought back the stuff that we loved from that era, we would go out and buy it. We're spending money, and I guarantee you, there's a lot of people out there that would still do that. So it's a market that they completely abandoned, in my opinion. And stuff like this just pisses me off as a fan because I look at this, I read what they're doing, I'm like, that's not Wildcats. It's like Wildcats in name only, in my opinion. Or maybe an alternate version of Wildcats, but it's not the Wildcats. It's not the Wildstorm characters that I love.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I don't know. There's ways of doing it to try to pull in both audiences, but they seem to be just kind of like, oh, we're not going to bother with the old ones.
Yeah.
We'll hope we'll just put the characters in there and assume they're going to pick it up, and that's a problem.
You're right.
It doesn't seem to do well. I mean, they tried it already a couple times.
Yeah, honestly,
it didn't work.
Everything they've done, I really haven't liked since they brought him back. The Wildstorm 25th anniversary was, like the Backlash story was cool that you did. Some of that stuff was all right, but the Warren Ellis run, I wasn't really a big fan of. When they tried to reboot him, what was that, 2012, 2014? Yeah, whatever year that was, it blends together for me, but I wasn't a big fan of that. But yeah, I mean, it's basically I know I'm not going to get what I want, so it's all good. It's all good. What's cool is that the closest we'll get to Backlash right now is Lost Serpent Prince, and that's cool. That's fine with me right now because that book looks awesome. The character design is great, and so I really hope that that's a very successful book. It has its own title run, whether it's miniseries or you crowdfund it or whatever you do. I'm really looking forward to that because that has given me everything that I want out of comic books right now. That's pretty much that, and Gunslinger Spawn are the only thing I'm excited about in the mainstream, if that's what you want to call it, industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying drawing both of them, so it's like fun for me. Basic.
Hey everybody, before you go, did you know I have my own comic book called Reaper Destroyer on Indiegogo now? It's an action sci-fi adventure that captures everything about the dark heroes of the 90s that we love, but with a modern day twist. If you haven't yet, please consider backing today. There's a link in the description below, and I will talk to you all later.